August 22nd, 2020. The day my professional wrestling collection changed forever. Because on that day, I found something that I had never found before, and something I never thought I would ever find, and that is the AEW Unrivaled figures. Now, I know I did a video about this, about my complete collection of the AEW figures, but this is just talking about Unrivaled 1. Not Unrivaled 2, 3, 4, or 5, which you all saw that video, but just talking about Unrivaled 1. Because I actually didn't realize it until I looked at my gallery, but I've actually had some of these AEW figures for over a year, and that's surprising. So, as many of you know, the AEW Unrivaled figures were supposed to hit stores. I think they were supposed to hit Walmart, I think August 3rd, 2020. And they didn't, because, I guess, because of the pandemic. But there were some stores that actually got them. I think there were some in Texas, and I don't know if there were anybody else, but for majority of us, like us in Illinois, we did not get these figures until, I'd say, maybe like a few weeks later. So, as many of us know, these figures were really hard to come by, and, we all did not like the skin tone on here. But they were worth it because it was AEW's first action figure wave, and it was something that a lot of us wanted. As soon as the company started, us action figure collectors were like, when are they going to get figures? When are they going to get a video game? When's all this and that going to happen? And, slowly but surely they're getting a video game. But more importantly, we got action figures of the AEW figures. So let me just tell you guys how I got these figures, alright? There's only 4 because I never did complete the set. If I ever find Brandy or Chris Jericho from this set, I'm going to get them. But I think these were the 4 that I actually wanted from the set, and I'm glad to have them. And I also have 3 loose that I've shown you guys before. But with that being said, let's just talk about Unrivaled 1. So before you right here, you see a mock Cody, Kenny Omega, Nick Jackson, and Matt Jackson. Actually, the Bucks are in the wrong order again, but it doesn't really matter at this point. And then what I have loose down here is the Unrivaled 1 Cody, Unrivaled Kenny Omega, and then a custom of the Unrivaled Kenny Omega made in his... I don't remember what the guy's name was, but it was from... it was Akuma from Street Fighter when he dressed up like that for Fyter Fest. But yeah, as many of us know, these figures are really hard to find. Like, some people didn't even find them. I had a couple friends who never found the AEW figures. Hell, actually, I think Cloud Kid actually does not have an AEW figure, which sucks. So if I ever meet up with Cloud Kid again, I'm definitely gonna... I'm not gonna give him one of these figures, but I'll let him hold an Unrivaled figure just to see what it's like. So let me just give you guys a rundown of this, right? So August 3rd, we were all hyped as hell, We were going to wake up early. We were going to go to Walmart. We were going to line up outside the store just to get these figures. And then we get the news that it's been delayed. So it's like, okay. Then they say the 6th didn't happen. The 8th never happened. A week later, never happened. And then it was kind of hush-hush for a while. So I didn't hear anything about the AEW figures. Now, keep in mind, after August 3rd, I was hunting everywhere for these. I went to Walmarts I would normally go to on a weekly basis. I went to Walmarts I hadn't been to in maybe a few months or years. I went to Walmarts out of town. Hell, I even went to Walmarts that I never knew existed. Just for these. But I gotta say, it was the same thing every time. I walk in there, and there was nothing. Every time. Walked in, there was nothing. So I was on the verge of giving up on these figures, because they were hard to find. And it wasn't until I discovered BrickSeek where that actually helped me. And I started to look for them, and it's like, wow, this actually helps a lot. So how I got these, very simple. I think it was Friday, August 21st. Yeah, it was August 21st because today's the 22nd. So August 21st. Friday, August 21st of 2020. After Friday Night SmackDown went off the air, I got bored, checked BrickSeek. Come to find out that they have the Unrivaled figures in stock at many Walmarts around my area. So I'm like, okay, and I tell my parents, so we made the plan to go out to Walmart the next day. And they're like, what Walmart do you want to go to? And it's like, well, there were Walmarts I'd been to, but there's one Walmart in particular I had never been to, which I call that Magic Walmart because that's where basically a lot of these AEW figures come from. So we went out there, and for some reason, I felt, different. I felt, a little bit weird, but at the same time, it was good. It's like, I got a really good feeling about this, I'm going to walk in there, walk out with some figures, and hopefully see what happens. So I walk down the aisle. I'm about to turn to the aisle. I'm walking towards where the pro wrestling figures are, and I see this shelf, not the shell cap, but I see a little display thing. and I don't see the front of it. All I see is the back. And I'm like, oh my god, is that the AEW figures? So I sprint and I look over, and what I thought was the AEW figures, it wasn't. It was a display for, I think, the Troll movie. It was just Troll action figures. So yeah, the Trolls trolled me, dicks. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So I'm like, okay, that sucks. Well, maybe they still have them. So I was about to turn the corner, and I see this little end cap that has the UFC figures. I'm like, oh my god, if they got the UFC figures, then they gotta have the AEW figures. And I look up, and when I look up, I find the Young Bucks just chilling there. I find Matt chilling there. I find Nick chilling there. I grab those and I hold on to them for dear life. I'm like, I'm not letting these go. I found them. I think these are the only ones they got left. If that's the case, then I'll just buy these then. So I went down to the WWE aisle, or where the WWE aisle should have been. And I went down there. All they had was just a 2-pack of Becky Lynch, who came back, and Seth Rollins. I'm like, okay, well, at least I got the AEW figures, so I'm going to go and leave. So I was about to leave. I walked down to the end of the aisle, and they moved the WWE figures, because right next to, I think, a basic Ricochet was the AEW Unrivaled figures. And what they had was Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and Chris Jericho. I guess they didn't have another set of Young Bucks because I had the set of Young Bucks. So I got happy. I'm like, oh my god. So I was trying to figure out what to buy. It's like, oh, I'm buying the Bucks because they're the first ones I had. And it's like, I'm thinking about it. I should have bought a Chris Jericho. But, it's like, I wanted to buy Cody because he was number 1 in the set. And the Bucks were 3 and 4. And I knew I was going to get a Kenny Omega before because I couldn't find it. So I ordered, I think, a Kenny maybe a week or two before I actually found them. So the first time I walked out with the Young Bucks and this Cody Rhodes right here that I decided to open. Then a couple weeks later, me and my mom went to the Walmart to pick up my nephew who was working. And then I decided, let me check Brickseek. Check Brickseek, have them in stock. It's like, okay, I'll go there. I went there and they had the AEW figures, but what they had wasn't what I was expecting. What they had was 2 Cody Rhodes and 5 Kenny Omegas. It's like, holy shit. So I even contacted my friend Gio, and sorry, I kind of had a burp stuck there, and I even asked him if he wanted me to pick him up one, because I actually told him, I texted him when I found the figures, and I said I hid him a thing of figures. I hid him a Cody, a Kenny, and a Chris Jericho. He never found them. I went back like the next day, I found those figures, but it's like, now I think about it, I should have picked them up. But anyway, so when I went to that Walmart, I'm like, okay, I texted him, and we both wanted the same thing. So I got both the Codys and 2 Kenny Omegas. And I went home, texted him, it's like, okay, come out the next day. He came out the next day, and I had the figures ready for him to sell. And he came up to me, and then he's like, I know I asked you to pick up the Cody, or the Kenny. I asked you to pick up the Kenny, but I don't really want the Kenny Omega that bad. And I'm like, okay, so you just want the Cody? And he's like, yeah. So I sold him the Cody. I kept the Kenny Omega, which was one of these 2. I don't remember which one of these Kenny Omegas it was that I kept, but I know I kept them both. So I opened them both, kept one the same, painted the other one to look like Akuma from Street Fighter, and then also I got the AEW title here. Huge shout out to my friend Gio, by the way. That came from a little bit of the bubbly Chris Jericho. So now that leaves one figure remaining. This Kenny Omega right here. Remember how I said I ordered a Kenny off Ringside? Well, that's where this one came from. I even filmed it too. But I opened the package, and I'm like, okay, this looks good, but I have like 2 Kenny Omegas now, so I'm going to open one of them and keep this one mock, which is what I did. Now, looking back at it, I really wish I would have ordered the Brandy Rhodes, because there were only 2 figures left of Unrivaled 1, and that was Kenny Omega and Brandy Rhodes. I should have ordered Brandy Rhodes, but I'm stupid. I would have traded in this custom. I don't need this custom that bad, but I would trade that for a Brandy Rhodes any day. Like, I do not care. I would trade that for a Brandy Rhodes, but I hate that this set isn't completed, but I like that I got at least 4 figures that I really wanted from this set. And, like I said, even though it's not completed, I still love these figures. They look good. I know a lot of people were complaining about the skin tones, and I know Jazzwares fixed the skin tones, which I do not like. I don't like that they fixed the skin tones, because I like the messed up skin tones. Now, here's why, and I hope this doesn't get hate, but I like the messed up skin tones because it's going to make AEW Unrivaled 1 stand out. Like, if you look at 2 going all the way to even the unmatched figures, the skin tones are fixed. which I like. But I also like that the skin tones are messed up on here because that's what's going to make Unrivaled 1 stand out. It's going to be like, oh, it's the messed up set, but, you know, they're good figures, but the skin tone's messed up. That's what's going to make them stand out, and I hate that they fixed it. I like the idea, but I think they shouldn't have done it because it just makes the Unrivaled 1 line stand out. That the messed up skin tones make the Unrivaled 1 stand out because they're the messed up skin tone stuff. That even makes sense. But yeah, it was this day last year where the AEW figure collection started. And actually, let me show you guys something really quick. So I don't know if I've ever really gotten into detail on my figure wall, and I know Unrivaled 1's missing because that's over there, but I never really gone into detail how I got a lot of these AEW figures. But not only that, if it wasn't for those, this collection wouldn't have started, and there's a little bit more on this side. So I just got that Moxley and that Luchasaurus over there, I think, on Friday. Literally, mere hours before CM Punk was supposed to show up, I got that. But yeah, guys, like, I love these figures. I love it. And I'm glad this all started with Unrivaled 1. So thank you guys for watching. Drop a like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this video, because my battery's about to die and I gotta wrap up. So see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. And be all elite. That was kind of cheesy, but whatever. See ya.